We have witnessed some incredible A-League Grand Finals over the years since the competition started all the way back in 2005. And with the 2024 Grand Final coming up this weekend between Central Coast Mariners and Melbourne Victory, let's go through and rank my top 10 A-League Grand Finals of all time. And to kick it off, we are going all the way back to the first ever Grand Final, 2006 Sydney FC defeating Central Coast Mariners 1-0. We had to throw this in the list. An iconic Grand Final, obviously the first Grand Final. Steve Corica with a goal for the Sky Blues, and obviously Corica, going on to become a name synonymous with Sydney FC and the A-League as well. He obviously went on to coach Sydney FC and now announced as the inaugural coach of Auckland FC. This set the tone for Sydney FC. They have become the most successful side in A-League history. They've won the most championships. They've been to the Grand Final more times than anyone else in the A-League men's competition. Central Coast Mariners, fantastic effort from the Central Coast to reach the Grand Final in their first year in the competition as well. And very nostalgic when you look at some of the names involved in these matchups, even with the likes of Mark Rudan in there for Sydney FC, and some old Central Coast Mariners legends, Alex Wilkinson in there, Andrew Clark, Damian Brown, Tom Pondolyak. Certainly a throwback for fans of both of these teams. Number 9 for me, we are jumping to 2017. Sydney FC 1, Melbourne Victory 1 in the end, and the Sky Blues winning it in a penalty shootout. Valeri and Rojas missing their penalties for victory. And you look at some of the personnel involved in these matchups, and there's some high quality names. But I really wanted to highlight this Grand Final because this was a really successful time for Sydney FC. Those sort of the mid 2010s to the late 2010s was a really was an important time for Sydney FC. They were a real force to be reckoned with, and they did not lose many games during this time. The likes of Filip Olosko, Milos Ninkovic, Bobo up top, so key to their success. They built such a dangerous team under the leadership of Graham Arnold, and rightly so, picked up this championship win after a fantastic season. That season, 16-17, again coming up against a very dangerous Melbourne Victory side in this occasion. And these two teams played out many grand finals, and it's not the last time we're going to see these two teams on this list. That is for sure. 2021 is our next grand final in 8th place on our top 10 list. Melbourne City 3, Sydney FC 1. This is Melbourne City's one and only championship. And I wanted to highlight this one as well because this was, a successful time, this time for Melbourne City, the early 2020s, you can say. Melbourne City had just an incredible team and were playing some incredible football. Adrian Luna, Florin Berenguer, Aidan O'Neill on midfield, absolutely fantastic. Worth highlighting as well that Melbourne City, were without the likes of, Jamie McLaren, who wasn't involved in this game. They were missing some star attacking players. The youngsters at the time, Stefan Kolikovsky and Mike Otilio, had to step in and do the job. This game was affected by that first half red card to Luke Bratton. Two bookings in the first half. He was sent from the pitch, and it really affected the flow of things. Melbourne City cruising to victory with goals from Atkinson, Jamison, and Scott Galloway as well. So number 7 on the list, 2015, saw Melbourne Victory defeat Sydney FC 3-0. Melbourne Victory, this team, again, terrifying. You look at some of the names on the field for Melbourne Victory in this game. It was that front four, Costa Barbarouses, Guy Finkler, Fahid Ben Kalfala, and Besart Berisha. Berisha, one of the all-time great A-League goal scorers, obviously enjoyed some successful periods with Brisbane Roar, who we'll come back to, but he was fantastic for Melbourne Victory, scoring an iconic goal in this game. Barbarouses and Broxham chipping in with a late goal as well. Such a fond memory, I'm sure, for Victory fans as well, to get such a fantastic grand final win over their bitter Big Blue rivals in Sydney FC as well. You look at that again, that Victory side, just fantastic depth as well, with the likes of Archie Thompson, Mahazi, Gary Payne on the bench as well. One of the top teams in A-League history. Number 6 on our list for me is Brisbane Roar, Western Sydney Wanderers. Brisbane Roar obviously had a fantastic team during those early 2010s, and they featured in the 2014 Grand Final once again at home, this time to Wanderers, who we are featuring in their second Grand Final just 2 years into their existence. That's an incredible feat. But Brisbane Roar, man, this side was just too good. Miller, Bratton, and Mackay in midfield for this game. Petratos, Berisha, Broich up top. And of course, we have to highlight Thomas Broich, the German playmaking player who played off that left-hand side. considered by many to be the greatest foreigner to ever play in the A-League, and he was crucial to the successful times that Brisbane Roar enjoyed in the early 2010s. Enrique, of course, the slippery fish, as he was known to Brisbane Roar fans, scoring in extra time to get the win for Brisbane Roar. It is time to get into our top 5 now. Some truly memorable grand finals. And 2016, I think, was a memorable one from a neutral point of view. As a neutral, I really enjoyed watching this grand final. It was Adelaide United, a team who we don't often see feature in grand finals. They've been there a few times. Winning in the end against Western Sydney Wanderers, who had featured in their 3rd grand final this time around. The Reds, though, Kamau, Isaias and Sanchez scoring in this matchup. And you look at some of the players that they had on the field. A younger Craig Goodwin at left back, Isaias, who is still at the club, but Marcelo Corusca there as well, Sergio Thirio, Pablo Sanchez, some fantastic footballers they had on that side, and they were a real dangerous team during that time as well. 2016, they were a hard team to beat, especially at home. Again, Wanderers coming so close. It's been an ongoing thing for Western Sydney Wanderers now. They enjoyed such a successful time in the first few years of their existence. They'll be hoping to make another grand final again, hopefully soon, for their fans. Number 4 on our list, though, we go back to Brisbane, winning 2-1 against Perth Glory in one of the most controversial A-League grand finals in history. Besart Berisha, was he fouled? Did he dive? I'm sure if you're a Glory fan, you have strong opinions on how that incident panned out. But Besart Berisha slotting home the penalty to win this one against the Perth Glory side, who again have only featured in a couple grand finals, haven't won an A-League championship before. Perth Glory, a team with a rich history, and they've got some big names in that team as well, especially with someone like Shane Smeltz, an iconic player in the early years of the A-League. But again, Brisbane Roar, you look at that midfield trio as well. They had Eric Partaloo, Mitch Nichols and Massimo Madoka, an iconic midfield trio for the Roar, who picked up another grand final win. 2007 is coming in at number 3 on my lists. And this is just one of the most iconic A-League grand finals. 6-0 from Melbourne Victory over their original rivalry rivals, Adelaide United. And Archie Thompson, incredibly, scoring 5 goals on grand final day. Over 55,000 fans, an incredible turnout, an incredible day for Melbourne Victory. And Archie Thompson, I mean, what a player, what an iconic Melbourne Victory and A-League player. Enjoyed a really successful time with Melbourne Victory, and I'm sure this stands out as one of the greatest days of Archie Thompson's life, and one of the greatest days of Melbourne Victory fans' life as well. A disappointing one for Adelaide United, but a very iconic grand final, that is for sure. Just the 2nd grand final in A-League history. It's time to jump into number 2, and I don't think I'm being biased. I've got the jersey up in the background, but 2013, Central Coast Mariners lifting the championship for the 2nd time in their history, a decade after they'd done it in 2013. Never before has there been more goals scored in an A-League grand final. 6-1 Central Coast Mariners, a hat-trick to Jason Cummings, Silvera, Nkololo, Mateus Maresh on the score sheet. It was a scoreline that no one saw coming, because you look at this Melbourne City side, and it's a high-quality team with immense experience with the likes of McLaren, Nabut, Leckie. Valon Berisha was fantastic for Melbourne City last season as well. A dangerous team, Melbourne City, and this was expected to be a really tight, contested grand final. But Central Coast Mariners showed up and put in one of the most phenomenal performances we've seen in grand final history in this competition. And you look at some of the personnel on that Mariners lineup, a lot of them are now playing overseas with the likes of James McGarry, Nectar Triantis, Benny Nkololo, Sammy Silvera, Jason Cummings, featured in the 2022 FIFA World Cup, Jason Cummings as well. An incredible team that Mariners had here, led by Nick Montgomery, and picking up one of the most incredible grand final results we have ever seen. We're coming in at number 1, and it pains me as a Mariners fan to put this as number 1, but I'm trying to be neutral. I'm trying to come in from a neutral point of view, put my bias aside, and I think it's fair to say that the greatest grand final in A-League history is 2011. Brisbane Roar 2, Central Coast Mariners 2. I know, fellow Mariners fans, but I had to do it. This was just a remarkable result, a remarkable football match, one of the most incredible A-League matches we've seen in history. And for me, the greatest grand final from a neutral point of view. Brisbane Roar 2, Central Coast Mariners 2. But look at the minutes for those goals. Central Coast Mariners scoring in extra time, courtesy of Adam Kwasnik and Ollie Bozanic. 103 minutes there for Bozanic, and it went all the way to the 117th minute. Mariners had a 2-goal lead with just minutes remaining in extra time. Enrique shows up scoring a goal. And then Eric Partaloo jumping, leaping highest from the corner to head home. I remember being much younger and watching this grand final and just falling to the floor. I legitimately just fell to the floor watching that header from Partaloo go in. It was just absolutely unbelievable. Incredible ecstasy, I'm sure, for Brisbane Roar fans to complete the most incredible comeback. The job wasn't done from them, man. Penalty shootouts. Unfortunately, Daniel McBreen and Pedge Bowick missing their respective penalties. Brisbane Roar not missing in the shootout and picking up, this was their first ever grand final win, and it started that fantastic period where they picked up those grand final wins in 2011, 2012, and 2014. Roar Salona, as they were known, of course, managed at the time by current Tottenham Hotspur head coach Ange Postecoglou. So that is my list of the top 10 A-League Grand Finals, greatest A-League men Grand Finals of all time. Feel free to drop your list in the comments section. Which A-League Grand Final is your favourite? Which one stands out as the best of all time? And hopefully we get another great Grand Final coming up this weekend. Central Coast Mariners host Melbourne Victory. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Lockie. This is Coastwood Football. Stay subscribed for more A-Leagues and Australian football content, and I'll see you in the next one.